What's up, everyone? Nut Boy. We're going to talk about episode 3 of Alien Earth. So let's get into it. Okay, this is an interesting scene here. We have the boy genius, boy Cavalier, and he just absolutely wants these new specimens. He's like, there's $1 trillion worth of R&D. This landed in my lap. This is mine. And you can start to see kind of into the mindset of some of these higher level elite trillionaires. Like, they do not care at all about the crew, about citizens around them. Everyone else is expendable. Interesting callback to the goo, the chrysalis kind of encasing humans. We saw that first in the extended version of Alien. Definitely saw it in Aliens. And I can't remember if it was in the third or fourth. I'm not sure, but I know in the original Alien movie it was cut, but it's interesting that they brought that back. It's kind of a fun callback. And this xenomorph, man, I'm calling him Matt because he's like matte black. Typically the xenomorph is like just dripping in goo, you know, some nasty liquid, some xenomorph juice. But my boy is matte black and he looks nasty. This is the meanest, nastiest xenomorph we have seen in the entire Alien franchise. The coolest xenomorph, in my opinion, for sure. Also, this scene here, when they are walking through like the meat locker, kind of signifying like metaphorically that they are also food to the xenomorph. And we saw this, I think it was in episode 1, I believe it was Timothy Oliphant's character, talking to them about how they've evolved so much beyond being food for predators, and now they're back to being food. And that was just a perfect scene. Oh yeah, Joe is the first one to escape an acid death. Maybe not first one, but he thinks pretty quickly and realizes that it's acid right away, and he doesn't get his shoulder burnt up and disintegrated. So many other folks in the Alien franchise that are unfortunate enough to encounter the acid blood, they just get absolutely roasted. But not my boy Joe, quick on his toes. So Marcy, a.k.a. Wendy, is going to save her brother Joe. The xenomorph's little tiny mouth is coming out, and then she snatches him by the mouth. But she drags the xeno over, a.k.a. Matt, my boy Matt Black, and she's like, let's go kill him with the door. Some quick thinking, and she squishes him with the door. And that's a fun Prometheus callback, too. It kind of reminds me of the scene where they're first coming into the temple. They see the engineer that got decapitated by the door running from the xenomorph, and they do the same to the xenomorph, so a little bit of payback. Okay, the dialogue between Smee and Slightly, in my opinion, is hilarious. A lot of people have been kind of getting frustrated with like the cheesy kid dialogue, and they're adults, but not really. I think it's hilarious. It's like Gen Z in space, Gen Alpha in space. Bro. I say bro like 15 times in this one scene, but I am here for it. I thought that was super funny. What are these eggs? Dude, where's my xenomorph? Dude, where's my spaceship? Bro. Yeah. I'm not sure how y'all feel about this. Let me know in the comments if you would agree, but the way that they're dancing over the eggs seems like a little sacrilegious.
This is forbidden.
But I don't know. Like in past Alien movies, we've seen these open up right away, right? And I was kind of thinking about that. I'm like, why are these not opening right away? But I realized later in the episode that these eggs are far more terrifying than we ever truly realized. They lay dormant until a viable host comes up and is unfortunate enough to stumble across these eggs, right? So these guys are totally hybrid. They have a human consciousness, but they're completely robotic. So when they're dancing over the eggs, they're not moving at all. The eggs aren't doing anything because it recognizes that they're not a viable host. But then my boy Cyborg comes in, and he gets a little too close to the eggs, and they start to open up a little bit, which is wild to see that even though he's half robot, half human, that's what a cyborg is, or he has, quote unquote, the worst parts of a man. I don't know what that means. But the egg reacts. And then we see the eggs being brought back to the Prodigy headquarters, their secret dope hideout. and Boy Cavalier gets really close to the eggs, and we see it fully extend, right? So it was kind of 3 levels of like reaction from the eggs, which I thought was really interesting. Like the hybrid, the egg didn't react at all. The cyborg, it opens up a little bit. And then with Boy Cavalier, if Timmy Oliphant didn't pull him back, he would have been absolutely mauled by a face hugger. All right, this data transfer scene from the spaceship to the cyborg was wild. I don't think we've seen this in the Alien franchise yet. I could be wrong. Maybe it's been featured in some of the games. I like how the data, like the lights, are going from the computer up into his head, and it kind of shows that it's being like uploaded, and then it starts to go really fast. The rate at which this data is transferring is just unsettling. Like, it was a creepy scene. He's talking all creepy. He's sweating. The data is just flying up there. The computer screen is all like going super fast and glitchy. Just creepy. These aliens just look so creepy. I am a big fan of all of these new aliens that we've seen so far, and I hope we see a lot more. I cannot wait to see this eyeball alien in action. I've read online, some people actually find this eyeball alien kind of cute. I think it's just a unique looking creature. We've never seen this in the Alien franchise. So I think it's fun that we're seeing some new creatures. What the heck is this, though? What is this? This thing looks gnarly. New Siam. Very Blade Runner-esque. Like we see with the street vendors and the street food. Reminds me of the opening shot of Blade Runner, and I love it. It actually really reminds me of Osaka, Japan. If anyone's been there, there's all these kinds of little like street vendors, like noodle bars. You can just be walking down this like alleyway, and you're going to stumble across this little street vendor. Super cool. And I know a lot of people have kind of wondered, like, hey, is there going to be like any more allusions to Blade Runner and Alien Earth? And we'll see. I mean, the world looks so similar. And we see these hybrids, these synthetics, these cyborgs, very similar to Blade Runner. So we'll see if that bleeds over. Who knows? Let me know in the comments what you think. So we got Boy Cavalier here playing with the most boring Lego set of all time. White brick tower. I don't know. Super lame Lego set. But this guy is creepy. He is so pretentious. He is so full of himself. He's a prodigy, and we get that. But I am calling it right now. This man is getting a face hugger right to the dome. I'm calling it. Wendy comes back online. She's rebooted like an iPod Touch, and she's totally fine. Now, I really love this season overall. Alien Earth has blown my expectations out of the water. I am so pleased with how it's going so far. With that being said, there are a couple things that are a little corny, I'm not going to lie. Not a huge fan of this like psychic connection between Marcy, aka Wendy, and the xenomorphs. Like, I don't know where this came from. In episode 2, we see a little bit of her kind of walking around and like hearing noises that no one else is seemingly hearing. And she's like, oh, do you guys hear that? I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this kind of dynamic, like psychic connection with the creature in like Stranger Things. I feel like there was a really cheesy Godzilla movie. I think it's Godzilla versus Kong, where like a little girl can communicate with the animals. And it's just, I don't know. It's corny. I don't like it. I've loved everything else about Alien Earth so far, but I really hope that they don't like harp on this too much. I hope it's like something that's kind of in the background, but I'm not a huge fan of how she's just walking through the halls like geeking out. Like, I don't like it. This is a cool scene where they're dissecting the egg and they're harvesting the face hugger from the side of the egg. A lot of people would be like, oh, no, you can't get the xenomorph out the side of the egg. You can't get the face hugger. It only comes out the top. Well, guess what? In the original artwork for Alien, they actually show the egg hatching from the side, not from the top. So obviously it's canonical for the xenomorph egg to open from the top. Obviously, that's how it works. But I do think it is cool that Alien Earth is like breaking a lot of the norms and like approaching these things that we've seen for years in fun new ways. But they're also like paying homage to the whole franchise, like cutting open the side of the egg. It reminded me of like the original artwork where we see the green light kind of oozing out of the egg. This is nuts. This scene is so crazy. They done stole a lung from Joe, and they are dissecting this face hugger to find the tiny little xenomorph embryo, I guess you would call it, the baby chest burster, and they implant it directly into the lung, which is so crazy. And it begs the question, like, how did Timothy Olyphant know? I obviously don't know the character's name. I'm sorry. I'll put it on the screen. How did he know where this thing was, though? Right? Like, he knows exactly where to look for this. How did he know this was here? Right? So, like, were there other things that they were testing? They seem to kind of know their way around this thing. And this is kind of cool. We've never seen this process happen before, right? Like, typically we see the face hugger. We don't really see it implant the tiny xenomorph embryo, like, into the stomach or whatever. But this kind of shows how this process works. The little xenomorph embryo goes straight for the lung, right? And that's where it's bursting out of the chest, which is terrifying to think about. And the way that it just wiggles on up there. Oh, so gnarly. Overall, I would give this episode an 8 out of 10. Okay. First episode for me was a 10 out of 10. I would say the second episode's 9 out of 10. That's a wrap for this video, guys. Thanks so much. Again, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be talking a lot more about the Alien franchise. I love it. And let me know if there's anything else you want to cover. But for now, peace.